I've been hiding something from Mission Control for the past 6 months, something growing inside the walls of this station that could change everything we know about life beyond Earth. Commander Maya Chen's voice trembled slightly as she adjusted the camera floating before her in the weightless environment of the International Space Station's main module. At 42, with a regulation dark blue jumpsuit bearing the patches of 3 space agencies and her black hair cut in a practical shoulder-length style that now drifted around her olive, complexioned face, she had never imagined her final recorded tour would begin with such a confession. The discovery had come during routine maintenance of the station's external panels, strange crystalline formations that seemed to respond to solar radiation in ways that defied explanation. If she reported it officially, the station would likely be evacuated and possibly decommissioned for extensive study, ending the research of 30 scientists and destroying her legacy as the most successful commander in the station's history. But if these formations were what she suspected, evidence of non-terrestrial biological processes keeping them secret could risk contamination, unknown consequences, or worse, the loss of humanity's first contact with alien life, however microscopic. Before I leave this place I've called home for 3 years, she continued, her dark eyes reflecting the blue glow of Earth visible through the module's viewport. I need to show you everything, including what I've found and why I've kept it secret until now. Maya guided the camera through the station's central corridor, her movements fluid after years in microgravity. This tour was supposed to be a standard farewell, my last official duty, before handing command to Colonel Patel next week. She explained, gesturing toward the various modules branching off from the main passageway. But after what happened during yesterday's spacewalk, I can't maintain protocol any longer. She didn't elaborate immediately, building tension as she demonstrated how astronauts navigate through the tight spaces of the orbital laboratory. The living quarters came first, packed sleeping pods arranged along the walls with personal items secured in mesh pouches. Maya showed viewers her own space, including a small photograph of a man with kind eyes and a gentle smile. "This was David," she said softly, touching the image with a tenderness that spoke volumes. "My husband died 14 months ago while I was up here. Brain aneurysm, no warning." Her voice remained steady, but the pain in her eyes was unmistakable. When you're 400 kilometers above Earth, you can't attend funerals. You can't hold loved ones. You just watch the planet spin below and try to make sense of continuing your mission when your world has shattered. Maya moved on quickly, professional demeanor returning as she demonstrated the station's hygiene facilities, the vacuum, sealed toilet system, the specialized showers that reclaimed every drop of water. "Everything here is about conservation and efficiency," she explained, her tone shifting to educational. "We recycle 95% of our water, convert carbon dioxide back to oxygen, and minimize waste in ways that could revolutionize resource management on Earth." The camera followed as she pushed herself gracefully through a connecting hatch into the station's hydroponics lab, where leafy greens grew under specialized lights. "This is where I first noticed something unusual," Maya said, her voice dropping slightly as she approached a sealed panel near the growth chambers. 6 months ago, during routine maintenance, I discovered crystalline formations on the exterior hull adjacent to this section. They weren't ice or known mineral deposits. She hesitated, glancing toward the camera. They were growing, changing, responding to their environment in ways that suggested. She left the thought unfinished, moving instead to demonstrate the hydroponic systems that provided fresh vegetables for the crew. As Maya explained the sophisticated water delivery systems for the plants, a sudden alarm blared throughout the station. Red warning lights flashed as she immediately pushed away from the hydroponics bay, her body tense. "Pressure drop detected in Module E. Announced the station's automated system. Emergency protocols initiated." Maya's expression shifted from tour guide to commander in an instant. "This is exactly what happened yesterday," she said urgently, propelling herself toward an emergency station where she grabbed a repair kit. "Stay with me, you need to see this." The camera followed as she raced through the station's corridors, the alarm continuing its ominous warning. Module E housed critical life support systems, and Maya quickly located the problem, a small section of wall where instruments indicated a microscopic breach. "Watch carefully," she instructed, training a specialized light on the area. Under the beam, viewers could see something extraordinary, tiny crystalline structures that seemed to shimmer with an internal light, spreading in a pattern around what should have been a dangerous hull puncture. "They're sealing it," Maya whispered, her voice filled with wonder. "The formations are responding to the pressure differential. They're protecting the station." The alarm silenced as pressure readings stabilized. Maya floated motionless, staring at the formations. "This is why I've kept it secret," she explained, her voice low. "These structures, whatever they are, appeared after our trajectory, took us through an unusual debris field 6 months ago. At first, I thought they were just exotic space dust adhering to the hull. Then I noticed they were growing, changing, responding to solar radiation, and now—" She gestured to the sealed breach. "They're not just growing on our station, they're protecting it, protecting us." Maya's revelation hung in the air as she continued the tour, moving to the scientific research modules where various experiments were underway. She explained each with professional precision, but her mind clearly remained on the crystalline formations. "The question that keeps me awake during our artificial nights is simple," she admitted as she demonstrated a physics experiment involving magnetic fields. "Are these formations truly alive? Are they intelligent? And if so, what does that mean for everything we thought we knew about life in the universe?" The tour proceeded to the station's observation cupola, where 7 windows offered panoramic views of Earth and the surrounding space. Maya floated in the center, Earth's blue curve filling the view behind her. "This is where I came when I received the news about David," she said quietly. "I watched our planet spin below, knowing he was gone from it forever, while I remained here, unable to say goodbye." Her voice caught slightly. "Commander Patel Aditya, he found me here. He was on rotation then, scheduled to return to Earth the following week." Maya's expression softened at the memory. "Aditya canceled his return flight. Stayed 3 extra months because he said no one should face that kind of loss alone in space." She looked directly at the camera, vulnerability showing through her professional exterior. "He held me while I cried. In zero gravity, tears don't fall, they just collect around your eyes until you wipe them away. He caught each one like they were precious things that shouldn't be lost to the recycling systems." The commander pushed gently away from the cupola, moving toward the exercise module where specialized equipment helped astronauts combat muscle and bone loss. "Aditya returns next week as the new commander," she explained, demonstrating the resistance equipment. "We've been colleagues, then friends, then—" She paused, searching for words, something more complicated, something neither of us expected after everything that happened. Maya moved efficiently through the exercise demonstration, explaining the 2-hour daily regimen required to maintain physical condition in microgravity. As she secured herself to the treadmill, a different alarm suddenly sounded, this one more urgent than the first. "Incoming transmission from Mission Control, Priority Alpha," announced the station's computer. Maya's expression tightened as she released herself from the exercise equipment. "They're not scheduled to contact us for another 3 hours," she said, concern evident in her voice as she pushed toward the communications module. The camera followed as she activated the secure terminal, her body tensing as she read the message displayed on the screen. The color drained from her face. "They know," she whispered, turning to the camera with shock evident in her expression. "Someone on the ground has detected unusual radiation signatures from the station. They're sending a special team to investigate, and they've ordered me to avoid all contact with the affected areas." Her breathing quickened. "They're talking about quarantine protocols, possible decommissioning of the entire station. Everything we've worked for 3 years of scientific research. Experiments that could help millions on Earth, all of it could be lost because they don't understand what's happening here. Maya's decision was visible in her eyes before she spoke it. I'm not going to let that happen, she stated firmly, not until we understand what these formations really are. She pushed away from the communications terminal, moving with purpose toward a secured storage compartment. The investigation team launches in 18 hours. Before they arrive, I need to document everything, and I need your help to share what I've learned. The tour continued with renewed urgency as Maya guided viewers through the station's international modules, where experiments from various countries were conducted. She explained each with professional detail while gathering samples and data from monitoring equipment. These formations aren't dangerous, she insisted as she worked. In the 6 months since they appeared, all crew members have maintained perfect health. Our experiments have shown no contamination or interference. If anything, certain systems are functioning more efficiently than ever before. Maya paused at a window overlooking Earth, her expression thoughtful. When David died, I thought I'd lost my anchor to the world below. Space became my escape, the perfect isolation to match my grief. She secured a sample container to her belt. Then Aditya showed me that connections don't break just because we lose someone. They transform, like these crystalline structures, into something we don't immediately recognize, but that might still sustain us. The commander moved to the airlock preparation area, where spacesuits were stored for extravehicular activities. I need to show you the formations from outside, she explained, beginning the lengthy process of suit preparation. You need to see what I saw during yesterday's spacewalk, what convinced me these aren't just unusual mineral deposits but something far more significant. As Maya methodically checked her spacesuit systems, she revealed more about her personal journey. Aditya and I weren't supposed to happen, she said softly, testing oxygen flow rates. We both carried too much history, me with my grief, him with a failed marriage that ended because of his dedication to space. Neither of us was looking for connection. She smiled faintly. But 3 months ago, during a maintenance spacewalk similar to what I'm preparing for now, something went wrong with my maneuvering unit. I started drifting away from the station. Maya's hands moved automatically through the suit checks as she continued. Aditya broke protocol, detached his safety tethers, and used his remaining propellant to reach me. We both could have been lost. Instead, we floated together in the void, waiting for rescue, talking about everything we'd never said about David, about his ex-wife, about the fear and wonder of space. Her voice softened. That's when he told me he'd stayed those extra months because he couldn't bear the thought of me being alone with my grief, not because it was the right thing to do, but because even then, he cared too much to leave. The suit preparation complete, Maya paused before entering the airlock. What I'm about to show you could change how we understand life in the universe, she said seriously. But it also might end my career if Mission Control decides I've violated protocols by not reporting this immediately. The investigation team could classify everything, bury the discovery under security restrictions. She looked directly at the camera. That's why this tour is being broadcast on a delayed feed to my private channel, not the official station stream. By the time they realize what I've done, the truth will already be out there. The airlock cycle began, a process that normally took 20 minutes to complete. As the air slowly evacuated from the chamber, Maya continued speaking through her suit's communication system. The formations are most concentrated on the station's sun-facing side, she explained. They seem to absorb certain wavelengths of solar radiation, using it somehow. Yesterday, during routine maintenance, I discovered they've spread further than I initially documented, and they've begun forming patterns that can't be random. Suddenly, the airlock cycle halted mid-sequence. Warning lights flashed as the station's computer announced, airlock procedure terminated by remote command, security override initiated from Mission Control. Maya's expression, visible through her helmet visor, shifted from surprise to determination. "They're monitoring us more closely than I thought," she said, her voice tight. "They must have detected my preparations for an unscheduled EVA." The airlock began repressurizing, forcing her to abort the spacewalk. "This changes things," she said urgently. "We don't have much time." Maya quickly removed her spacesuit once the airlock fully repressurized, moving with renewed purpose through the station. "If I can't show you from outside, I'll have to show you another way," she explained, heading toward the research module where she'd been conducting private studies of the formations. "For weeks, I've been taking microscopic samples, studying them in isolation. What I've found defies everything we know about biology and crystalline structures." The research module contained specialized equipment for various scientific disciplines. Maya secured the hatch behind her and moved to a digital microscope station. "Watch," she instructed, placing a sealed sample container under the device and activating the display. The screen showed magnificent crystalline structures that seemed to pulse with internal light, changing configurations in response to the microscope's illumination. They respond to energy inputs, reorganize their molecular structure, and appear to communicate through patterns of light. Maya explained, her voice filled with wonder. "But here's what convinced me these aren't just exotic crystals." She adjusted the microscope settings, revealing something extraordinary: tiny channels running through the structures, carrying what appeared to be microscopic particles in organized patterns. "This is information transfer," she stated confidently. "These formations aren't just growing, they're processing data, learning, adapting." Maya looked up from the microscope, her expression intense. "Yesterday, during the spacewalk, I discovered something else." She moved to a secure storage unit, entering a complex code to retrieve a sealed container. "The formations have begun creating these." She carefully opened the container to reveal what looked like perfectly formed geometric shapes, translucent, crystalline objects that caught the light in mesmerizing ways. "I believe these are attempts at communication," she said softly. "They appeared after I began my studies, arranged in patterns that suggest deliberate placement." Maya gently touched one of the objects. "They're trying to reach us, to connect, to understand just as we're trying to understand them." A harsh buzz from the communication system interrupted the moment. "Commander Chen, this is Mission Control. Respond immediately." The voice was stern, authoritative. Maya closed the container quickly, securing it to her belt. "I need to finish this tour quickly," she said, her voice urgent as she ignored the communication. "In 18 hours, a team will arrive with orders to quarantine these formations, possibly destroy them in the name of safety protocols. But what if this is first contact, not with advanced beings in spaceships, but with something so different from us that we almost missed it entirely?" Maya moved rapidly through the station, returning to the main module where the tour had begun. Earth rotated majestically in the viewport behind her as she faced the camera. 3 years ago, I came to this station as a scientist seeking knowledge. I'll leave it next week having found something none of us expected, not just evidence of life beyond Earth, but a reminder that connection can form in the most unlikely circumstances between the most different entities. The communication system buzzed again, more insistently. "Commander Chen, acknowledge immediately. Your unauthorized broadcast has been detected. Cease transmission now." Maya's expression remained resolute. "When David died, I thought I would never connect deeply with anyone again. When these formations appeared, we assumed they were just space debris. We were wrong on both counts." She smiled slightly. "Aditya showed me that hearts can heal in unexpected ways. These crystalline life forms are showing us that life and intelligence might exist in forms we never imagined possible." The station's lights flickered as Mission Control attempted to override systems remotely. Maya worked quickly at a control panel, bypassing security protocols to maintain her broadcast. "Whatever happens when the investigation team arrives, the truth is now with you," she said earnestly. "These formations aren't a threat, they're an opportunity. They've been protecting this station, possibly trying to communicate with us. They deserve study and understanding, not fear and quarantine." Maya's expression softened as she looked toward Earth. "In my 3 years commanding this station, I've learned that the most important discoveries aren't always the ones we set out to make. Sometimes they find us when we're most broken, most alone, most in need of connection." She touched the container secured to her belt. "Aditya found me when I was lost in grief. These crystalline beings found our station as they traveled through the void. And now, perhaps, we've found evidence that we're not alone in this vast universe." The lights flickered again, more systems going offline as Mission Control fought to end the transmission. "My time is running out," Maya acknowledged. "But before they cut this feed, I want to share one last thing." She removed the photograph of David from her pocket. Holding it beside a small crystalline formation she extracted from the container. "Life continues in ways we can't predict. Connections form when we least expect them. The universe has more wonders than we can imagine, some as close as the person floating beside you in the darkness, some growing silently on the walls of our spacecraft." Maya looked directly into the camera, her expression both determined and peaceful. "In 18 hours, everything might change for me, for these life forms, for our understanding of the cosmos. If this story has moved you, if you believe these discoveries deserve to be shared rather than classified, please help spread this message. Like and subscribe to ensure this channel remains active even if official channels try to silence it. The truth about what's growing on this station belongs to all of humanity, not just to those who fear what they don't understand." The station's lights dimmed completely for a moment before emergency systems